Hey everyone, welcome to Boomer Central, aka your grandma's apartment, with minus the poster. I love this couch. It's the most grandma couch in existence. What I'm trying to figure out, guys, if you can help me for a second, this isn't going to be long, as nobody's watching right now. I need to know if this mic works, or if I need to be using my webcam mic, or my microphone, my studio mic. But I was trying to figure out a way to do games. I wanted to play games, live stream games, and I can't, man. I can figure it out, but I need to know if the audio problems are coming from this mic or from the software. So Zexor, is my mic working or does it sound good? That's kind of the difference. Like, it can suck. Like, does it sound good? Can you? Okay, it's working and you can hear me. Okay. Let's see what happens when I hit this button. This is going to be one of these live streams here. That's just some dots down there. Okay. And then, because I was trying to use Hey, Kex. I I was trying to do OBS and do some gaming, but because I'm bored, but I can't do nothing. I'm sick. My. So okay, then the problem must be on the OBS side. I'll try to figure out another way to hey, what's up, Earbud? Oh, Earbud, yeah, man. I'm dying over here trying to set up OBS. If you get a free moment, I know you're out of town soon, but if you can come over at some point and help me set up OBS, because I'm way out of my league with the streaming stuff. No pressure though, no pressure, because we can figure something out. Obviously this works, but is the camera too high? Is there too much room here? I'm Emilio. I'm doing much better, actually. I having a little bit of chest pain, but I just think that's soreness. I don't think it's my heart. I went to the doctor today, and they're not too concerned about it. They all think it's the caffeine. They just okay, cool. Thanks, here, bud. They all think it's the caffeine. They just are like, we need to like do some more heart stuff. But they took an EKG today. It was totally fine. And they had me on those beta blockers and all that stuff. But so is this, is this too much? This is my medical bracelet still. Any personal information on this? Yeah, I should probably take this off. Can I zoom in? I don't know. Super boomer question, but can I zoom in, or do I have to get closer to the camera? Like, I wonder. I feel like the oldest man on the planet, because this is like right here, like that. And then that's that. I think that what is all this stuff? This is basically the I'm trapped in my house sick special. So yeah, you think the camera think the camera should be more. I bought that owl picture on my last live stream. It's pretty dope. He's just hanging up there. Yeah, thank you, William. I'm gonna keep shaving it. That's gray right there. I don't want to waste your guys' time though. Hey, Barfy man, I'm trying to think if there's something I can actually talk to you about as far as actual podcast goes. I'm doing an episode tomorrow, so that'll be good. We're doing an episode. We're talking. We're gonna do what we talked about the other day, which was people who got trapped. So bad near-death experiences. I have a segment on that coming up tomorrow, which is really creepy, which I wanted to do originally for episode 333. But yeah, Earbud, that'd be awesome. Yeah, and you're welcome to swing by anytime. I was going to do a bad, but I didn't want to do it after I spent 5.5 hours in the hospital. Also, what was the... I wanted to start live streaming the Minecraft server. That's why I was trying to do this tonight. Thank you, Barfman. This camera was loaned to me by Earbud, so... I don't know. I can adjust it, but I don't know if I can lower it. It's on top of my monitor. I think I could get... and should I take the glasses off so it's not so reflective? I don't know. I can do either way. But this is just going to be a GIF of me doing this. And then hey, Shadow Arc. So yeah, trying to think if we got like a scoop for you, or so hey, I'll ask you guys this. Hey, what's up, Scary Man? I'll ask you guys this: do you want okay, I'll ask you guys this. I do Shantique. I do take... People send me requests all the times. I can give you a preview of an upcoming story, or I can do some quick Dead Rabbit recommends. What would you guys like me to do? Or send me story requests too. You can do that. Do whatever. Here, I'll do both. Let me grab my tablet here real quick because I have some notes on my tablet. 1 second. But you guys are surprised I was wearing pants. You're like, uh-oh, right when you saw me getting up, you're like, there's a 50-50 chance this dude does not have pants on. So, let me get this pulled up here. Bennett, our resident Bigfoot expert, sent me a story request. So it's about this guy named S. Rob. He's an author, and now here's the thing. He's either totally trolling us, which is possible because the stuff he talks about is so insane. But he writes books. Oh, come on, man. And I'm going to do a full segment on this guy, but this guy writes books. Here's some of his book titles. The Occult, Cryptozoology, Summoning Dangerous Cryptids. So he writes an entire book on how to summon up the Chupacabra, Bigfoot, Mongolian Deathworm. I read that book, and it's actually his most boring book. Chris, I think you need to get to sleep. I think that would probably be a good idea, but I'm glad you're staying up, but you should probably get to sleep. Oh, no, I didn't paint that. I got that at a local bookstore. We bought it on our last live stream. So S. Rob wrote this book about summoning dangerous cryptids, and that's easily his most boring book. He also wrote a book called Occult Escapology to Abduct Aliens and Supervillains, Killer Goblins. They're both books. They're both about summoning spooky creatures, spooky creatures. So one of them, he teaches you how to summon goblins. And the other one, he teaches you how to abduct aliens. Let me read this passage to you. I'll give you this preview. Sorry, compelling streaming. Let me read this to you here. This is from his book. It's from you can't see it. It was at night, and after several nights of aliens appearing and men in black, this is poorly written. This isn't me. This is poorly written, okay? It was at night, and after several nights of aliens appearing and men in black, several gray aliens walked through my door, and one large green alien. Of course, I tried to communicate, but they were there for violence, and so I grabbed a walking stick. One I had named the Titfield Thunderbolt, after an old Ealing film, whatever that is. It's probably some British stuff. This is a British dude. And he used it in occult rituals. I swung the stick, and to my dismay, found that it simply passed through the aliens. That's a pretty good swing. He connected with all three of them. However, I did not give up, and so had an idea that maybe they could still slip on the black shiny stones I had, and I tossed them in front of both the front and back door. For the rest of this book, this guy, he says, carry stones with you. Because apparently, when you throw black shiny stones on the ground, aliens from super advanced culture think they're little computers. And that story basically inspires the next 100 pages of this book. And he teaches you, here's a great thing. I discovered through my experiences that as long as you shout whenever any aliens come near to the pebbles, that they can be psychologically a means of controlling them. But part of this is that this will add to our power, and in time, the legends of the pebbles of humanity will spread, and they will become a wonderful means for anyone to stop any alien in their tracks. He then goes on to tell you how to abduct aliens, how to do rituals to make gray aliens. Here's one. Here is a ritual. Papa Legba is this demon you summon. Papa Legba ritual to make a gray alien wear a dress. So we'll talk about that more on a future episode. You will learn how to summon a gray alien to stand in front of you in a dress. And then also he talks about summoning killer goblins. Shadow Arc, an episode on haunted asylums would be interesting. It would be, it's funny because a lot of times, like I did one actually on haunted asylums. When I started off doing the show, I thought we were going to be doing more ghost stuff, but really most of the ghost stuff is ghosts walk down the hallway. Or I turn a corner and there's a creepy girl standing in the corner. There's not, like, when we have alien stories, I can find a lot of really compelling alien stuff and a lot of really compelling conspiracy stuff and true crime stuff. But when it comes to ghosts, most of it's just people walking down the hallway. But when I come across it, I do love covering it. You know what? Delete this. Friendship Island's actually in my notes. Somebody submitted that to you. It might have actually been you. But Friendship Island actually was a request I got, and it is in the notes. The insert retarded stuff here. The doll is doing great. The doll is doing great. Just chilling with the other stuffed animals. Nothing crazy. I don't think it's spooky. Shadow Arc, does dangling keys in front of them work? And aliens, I know that was a facetious question. This guy apparently thinks that pebbles work, but he also believes that you can summon the Mongolian death worm, which would be nice. I'd love to do that. I might have to end this if I keep coughing, but the guy's nuts. I would assume that dangling keys in front of anything would actually stop them. Yeah, Shanty Keats. Yes, send me a story about a haunted bowling alley. That actually sounds pretty awesome. And then, yeah, delete this. I'll have to look more into that. But, yeah, that was on my notes about the haunted. Not the haunted. Friendship Island. I did Shadow Arc. I did an episode on the Jameson family. And Earbud, I did install Logi Capture. I can tilt in that, but I'm trying to think how to I'll fiddle with that later. But yeah, that's I guess how I can tilt it, huh? And it'll just stay, or I can just sit up straight. But Shadow Arc, I did cover the Jameson family a while back. Jameson Spiritual Warfare. If you search on the website, Dead Rabbit, you'll find it. Scary Man Esquire, a random question. Do you have any good ocean stories lined up? I actually did like an entire week, basically 2 weeks of shipwreck, ghost ships. For some reason, I just found a bunch of those in a row, and I actually still have 2 more shipwreck stories to go. Found into them, covered them a lot. So, it's funny. They're ocean cryptids. Ocean cryptids is probably the most likely place to have a cryptid. I keep looking at myself. Ocean cryptids is the most likely place to have a cryptid. So much so that they're not even really called cryptids. They're just more like undiscovered creatures. So, but yeah, I've covered a bunch of ghost stuff in the ocean. No, it's no problem, Shadow Arc. Yes, Shanty. Well, people have said before, hey, I'm going to go to this haunted location. I'm going to take pictures and stuff like that. And that's totally awesome. You just have to be safe about it because it's really easy to trespass. It's really easy to run into a bunch of hobos. I had some dude, I was walking on the street the other day. I don't think I told this story on my podcast. I was walking on the street the other day. I was wearing my owl hat. And this pickup truck goes, ark, ark, honks. Okay, and he turns in like to the side of me, dude. So I'm walking down this street, and he turns in, and he's like going into this big hotel here in town, and he goes, "Are you homeless?" I get asked that question all the time. I'm constantly confused with the homeless person, so it doesn't even bug me. But he goes, "Hey man, are you homeless?" And I was like, "No, I'm not." And he goes, "Oh, okay." Then he goes, "I like your hat. I really like your hat." And I'm like, okay, man, thank you. And then I realized that he was turning through the parking lot. He didn't have to go to the hotel. He turned into the hotel so he could honk his horn and talk to me. So I just sat there and pulled my phone out. And I'm like, just like looking up to see when his car drove away. Super creepy, dude. Super, super spooky. I don't know why. Why did I tell that story? Oh, yeah. When you go haunted house, when you go to haunted places, be careful of homeless people. Be careful of dogs, and that should be an example of how the show is authentic, Jason. Because that is exactly what I do. I just will go off on a segue and then forget where I was talking. Hey, Joe, Hyper Dragon Anaconda, do you have a plan on completing the whole iceberg chart? We talk about this a lot. Actually, a lot of people are requesting it. What I found is a lot of the iceberg stuff is a lot of it is true, but a lot of it is either super self-explanatory or it's not as compelling as you think it would be. There was one of them that was called the Vela incident. I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And it was a nuke. It was a nuke test that people have always debated who launched the nuke. And I guess that's an interesting story. But I was like, how do I fill that out? I think I've covered like the big ones. We have some other ones like 1800s internet, which actually is a fascinating story. That's one I don't know why I've sat on so long. The answer to that one's very, very interesting, but it's more of a history lesson. But the conspiracy iceberg, I would like to go back to it. A lot of it's a matter of time, and it's a matter of I'll dig into stuff like the clay jars, the plane of jars, and I was digging into it, and I spent like 20, 30 minutes, and I was like, that's it? It's just a bunch of jars in the middle of nowhere. Like, that's not super interesting to me, at least. And I'm like, I could be researching something else. I have a limited amount of time. So if people have requests, other than like, what's that one? People like the meat lockers or something like that. I don't cover stuff like that, but all the theories about that. But I just like to kind of do the funny ones or the mysterious ones. The stuff that gets kind of like creepy or gory, I'm really not into that. And that's one that's probably not even true. Let's see here. So yes, to answer your question, I would like to do more iceberg stuff, but as far as like doing the whole chart, there's ones on there that I'm just like, nah, I'm not interested in that just from the beginning. Thank you, Joe, that I do look normal. I have figured I look, Squiz. So yes, Squiz asked if I looked into that memorial. I did. Thank you, Squiz. I actually, a couple days later, I looked it up. So on the Halloween live stream, I showed you guys a memorial to a child who had passed away, like in the early 2000s, and I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but I did look him up because I remembered his name then. And he died of meningitis. He got sick and then like 2 months later passed away. So it was super, super fast. He was like 10 years old. He loved playing baseball. It's just kind of a sad story, but I did look that up and it was quite depressing. Thank you, Squiz. I was reading what Delete This said. Yeah, I'll look into that. And if you have any information on Friendship Island, go ahead and shoot it over to my email, deadrabbitradio@gmail.com. I'll take a look at it. It's funny, Barfy man, because sometimes I feel. I mean, thank you for the compliment, but sometimes when I'm recording it, I can tell my face is doing certain things, and then when I'm listening back to the edit, I think it does lose a little bit of the humor. I think that's the key. I think I view this show as a comedy podcast. It may not be the funniest comedy podcast, but I view it as a comedy podcast that delivers information on paranormal, conspiracy, and true crime. Every so often, I'll cover a true crime or a conspiracy that's not super funny, but I feel is important. But for the most part, it is a comedy podcast. That's what it's listed as, and I don't take it super serious. I take the work seriously, but I don't take I try not to take the subject matter super seriously. Insert. No, I've never done any psychedelics. Closest I've ever come was once I ate a bunch of weed. Did I tell this story on the podcast? I ate a bunch of weed back when I was smoking weed. I took it was the season premiere of Buffy. Stop me if you've heard of this episode. Stop me if you've heard of this story. So back when I was a stoner, it was it was like season 5 or season 6 premiere of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It was the one where she fought Dracula, and I wanted to get super stoned for it, but all I had was Bammer, which is a boomer term because nowadays everything's good because you can get it legal. I guess not in all states, but anyways, it was Bammer. It was just brown, crusty old weed, right? And I was like, I'm just going to eat it. My friends are like, dude, that's disgusting. And I was scooping it on, like, here's a cookie, and I was just putting the weed on the cookie, and then I was eating the cookie. Now, I proceeded to eat maybe 5 or 6 grams of it, right? And that was the first time I'd ever eaten weed. It was super disgusting. You're supposed to bake it into stuff if you don't know. You're not supposed to just eat it. And I kept eating it, and I wasn't stoned. I was like, what a waste of weed. I ate like 6, 7 grams. I don't remember. And I was totally sober for Buffy fighting Dracula. And I was like, oh, what a waste. 11 hours. Cut. No, see, I've gotten to that habit. I'll say cut in real life. It was a couple hours later. It was 11 o'clock at night is what I meant to say. And I'm just watching Married with Children with my buddies. And I'm just watching it. And all of a sudden, Bud Bundy crawled out of the television set. Like, he just, like, straight up The Ring, before The Ring even existed. I'm sitting there, and I saw Bud Bundy crawl out of the television set, and I just started screaming. And I'm like fighting my friends. They're like trying to hold me down. I'm like, flipping out. And that's the closest I ever got to a psychedelic was I ate so much weed, I began to hallucinate. And then my friends, they actually had to call poison control. My eyes were so red, they couldn't see any white. And I said, oh, I'm never doing that again. And then, of course, I did it the following weekend. So anyways, oh, yeah, that's the answer to the question. Have I done any psychedelics? Thank you, Lancaster. Yeah, I bought that during my last live stream. Michael Taylor. Jason, what's the most interesting paranormal story in your opinion? You were in a paranormal story, weren't you? Was it Michael Taylor, a guy who ripped a poodle in half? And I covered that story. I thought that guy's name was Michael Taylor. What's the most interesting paranormal story, though, in your opinion? Man, that's a tough one. It's like asking someone what their favorite movie is, but a little bit. What's the most interesting paranormal story ever? Well, jeez. I mean, you could. I would say it would have to be. And this might sound like a cop out answer, but I would say it'd have to be like, and you could say this isn't paranormal, but the war in heaven. The idea that all of like good and evil and what's going on Earth happened because these dudes were like trying to kill God, and there was this massive uprising, and this is where demons came from, and the creation of hell, and this eternal war. I think that's probably the most fascinating paranormal story out there. And a lot of people think it's historically true, and some people think it's an allegory, but it's kind of nothing else exists as far as paranormal goes, I think, without the saga of the war in heaven and the creation of demons and things like that. I guess cryptids would exist, but if there weren't demons, then would there really be ghosts? Would there really be eternal torment? I don't know. I think that is like the most epic paranormal story, and I find it fairly interesting, actually. So hopefully that wasn't a comment. Yeah, and look into the claims that Kurt Cobain's body was desecrated in the funeral parlor. Kurt Cobain's always one of those really interesting conspiracy theories. Himself. I'm much older than a lot of you guys. I was graduating high school when Kurt Cobain died. And I really, at that point, I was like, oh, Nevermind was a good album, but I didn't really like In Utero, and it was super popular, and I was too cool to like popular stuff. So I never really thought much about it. And then when I started hearing the conspiracy theories about Courtney killing him, I've always been in that camp that I'm like, maybe. But it would be hard to get away with it for this long. And I know people, like, apparently one of the other people implicated in the crime, like, died in a train chopped him in half. Not like karate chopped him, not like the train had a chainsaw. It was like he fell on the train track mysteriously. But my grandpa fell on a train track. I talked about that in an episode, chopped his leg off. People fall on train tracks, and it sucks, but it does happen. So let's see here. Thanks, Riri, for listening to the show. Hyper Dragon Anaconda, would it be possible for you to dedicate a podcast on covering iceberg conspiracies? Yeah, someone else mentioned that on the last podcast, last live stream. It may have been you, to have like a roundup. But again, so this is kind of how this works, because I have a day job, I work, and then I have a limited amount of, I record an episode, record maybe 30, 45 minutes of stuff. It takes double the amount of time to edit it. So basically I'm spending roughly, I'd say about 2 hours a day just producing the podcast. And then I give myself a little bit of downtime where I will watch YouTube videos or goof around, play this little card game online called Elements. Just, they're shutting it down soon, but I give myself about an hour or two of just kind of hanging out. And then I generally will do a little bit of research in the morning. I spend most of Friday and Saturday getting all my research done. That's a way of saying I don't have a lot of time to research a ton of stuff. I usually have to go into my research knowing what I'm going to find. And it's funny because people go, aren't you afraid you're going to run out of stories? One of the problems is I have too many stories. Like, I have so much stuff to cover. I feel like I don't have enough time to cover it all. That's why sometimes I'll try to fit. You guys don't hear that. A lot of times I'll try to do 3 segments per episode, and I end up cutting one out just because it goes over my 35-minute time limit. But, sorry, just getting a headache. I can have very, very limited caffeine, and I've already had my caffeine for the day, so I'm kind of bummed out on that. Let's see here. Shant, is weed keto? No, it's not. But I don't smoke weed anymore. I just don't like the way it made me feel. I found some weed walking down the street the other day, and so that's sitting in my cabinet. But it's just sitting. I don't even know why I took it. Oh, I know why I took it home, because I didn't want someone else to find it. I didn't want some kid to find it. But I don't know. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. Yeah, Michael, I'm pretty sure there was an episode about a guy named Michael Taylor who did. I mean, I'm assuming that you are not the Michael Taylor I'm talking about. But a while back, there was a guy who chopped up a dude. Oh no, he killed his wife and like peeled her face off, and you're like, I didn't do that either. And then he ripped a poodle in half with his bare hands, possessed by a demon. No, Vizzy, I've had no coffee today. No coffee today. I had a little bit of Diet Pepsi. I did go to the doctor, and they said, listen, we're going to hook you up. They did an EKG, and my heart's back to normal, but I have to take beta blockers until they know what caused it. And they pretty much know what caused it. It was the caffeine, but they have to be entirely for sure. Barfy Man, speaking of drugs, does anyone know what would cause a group of normal-looking and acting upper-middle-class men to eat out of the trash with no hesitation? I went to at a music festival. I think any good drug would probably make somebody do that, or just they're super hungry, or they were 3 raccoons standing on top of each other's shoulders. Do they have little masks on? You know, I don't know. That's one thing with the podcast. I'm able to edit out bad jokes, and I'm not able to do that in real life. Yes, Earbud, I am. I'm the hero that Hood River deserves. And I'm sure I was thinking after I took it that eventually some homeless person, some stoner was backtracking. Where did I drop my weed? Because it was like an eighth. It's like an eighth of weed. This pick or this pick? Sir Vlad says, nice background pick. This is my classic Maxim Hometown Hotties poster. And it's funny. So I have that poster up there. And it's funny, when I have visitors come over, I'll be like, I have that poster up there for several reasons. But I think one of the oddest things about that poster is that poster, I believe, is from about 2009. And it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 beautiful women. And people will come over and I'm like, all those women have children now. All of those women are married and have kids and are probably working at a bank. And this is just a fond memory. They're like, I remember when I posed for Maxim Hometown Honeys. That was such a nice memory. I was on a beach and I was photoshopped into a photo with 10 other women. I don't think they were all there on the beach at the same time. I don't know, but all those women have moved on with their lives. I find that fascinating. So no, that is, and then this guy right here, we should probably name him at some point. But the last live stream, I got that guy, and he's been pretty cool. He's just hanging out there, but I haven't named him yet or anything. I don't think there's anything else that I want to spin around and show. This is the, oh, sorry, Platinum. Yeah, there's something, I was trying to do this thing with OBS. And is that Platinum? Is that live stream still up? Is there something still over there? Let me look here. Uh-oh. No, not that. Yeah, sorry about that, man. Yeah, I was trying to, what my original goal was to live stream me playing Minecraft because I don't feel good and I want to play video games, but I didn't want to waste my time like playing video games by myself, if that makes sense. I don't know, man. I've just kind of been in a weird headspace. So I was like, well, I don't want to just play Minecraft by myself. But whatever. I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't get the audio portion of it to work. So, but yeah. So now we're just hanging out. And you know what the thing is? The Discord got raided super fast. We didn't have good enough moderation for it. Any basic thing for a when you have a Discord. And we only had it up for a week, so it wasn't like this massive thing. I mean, I appreciate Barfy Man was the guy who set it up, but it was bound to get, we just didn't have moderation. It took off super fast. So that's my fake chewing tobacco. Don't bust me. That's not real YouTube. That's not real chewing tobacco. Yeah, no, and I don't have a PO box yet for fan art, but you can email me or shoot it over to me. But I don't have anything set up for that just yet. And then, yeah, Vizzy. It was. I mean, it was bound to happen. Again, it wasn't a huge issue. It was just like if we can't moderate it, let's go ahead and pull it down. I said, I said I was going to remove myself from it first, and then Barfy Man says, yeah, let's just shut the whole thing down because it went from like it had 114 people on the Discord within the first day or something like that. Robert, where do I get my stories? I just read constantly, reading the news. Get a lot of stuff from the news, and then books I've read, and really a lot of the stories I find are rabbit holes. So the other day, yesterday's episode, when I was talking about all the ghost stuff, right? I came across some other ghost stories that'll be showing up later. So a lot of times I'll kind of like fly through there. And Mogfadon, as far as setting up a Patreon Discord, I've thought about setting up a Patreon Discord. I don't know. It would really depend if the people would want it. And again, this is the thing I always have to look at. Is what I'm doing worth the amount of time I'm putting into it? So let's say I set up a Discord, but I'm never on it. That's not fair to you guys, especially if you guys are paying. If I say, hey, if you pay $1 a month, you can do the Dead Rabbit Discord, but then I'm never on it because I never have time to go on it. That's not fair. So I'd have to, if I set up a Patreon Discord, it would have to be something that I feel like I could be on a regular basis. And if I can't make that obligation, then I probably won't do that. We'll set up a Discord at some point. We'll just have to have it moderated. And that's the same thing. If Julia Childs, that's a boomer reference. If Kate Upton set up a Discord tonight, it would be overrun with trolls without moderation. It had nothing it wasn't a reflection on the fan base or anything like that. It was just anything without moderation nowadays is going to get overrun. And it was only a couple hours, and it was people just posting stuff, and then I was like, I'm out. Let's see here. Yeah, here's the funny thing is that we have a Reddit. I don't know who set it up, but we have a Reddit. I'm a member of Reddit, unfortunately. I told you I got kicked off of the podcast Reddit. They don't let me post there anymore. But there is a Dead Rabbit Radio Reddit, but no one ever uses it. I don't know who set it up. I didn't. I subscribed to it, but no one ever uses it. And someone said, hey, you should mention that you have a Reddit. Yeah, I know it does visit. The thing that I like about Reddit is the information sticks around. I do like that because there's a lot of times where I'm looking for a technical thing and I want that hive mind and I don't want Quora. So I'll go to Reddit. But as far as like anything else, these are the subreddits I subscribe to. I subscribe to like Unsolved Mysteries, Unresolved Mysteries, which is different for some reason. True Crime Podcasts, Podcasting. I got kicked out of the podcast one. Jokes. They're always terrible, but every so often I'll find a funny joke. And then Dead Bedrooms is the weird obsession I have right now. It's a subreddit of people who have a terrible sex life. And it is super bizarre, but I constantly read that. I have a thing. I was actually thinking about doing a segment on this. I enjoy watching people fail. Now, let me rephrase that. That sounded very Dennis. That sounded very Dennis Reynolds. I don't enjoy watching people fail. Well, I enjoy people failing because of hubris, and I enjoy people failing and then reinventing themselves. So it's like I think that's one thing I love about true crime is people getting caught. And you're just like, how could you be so stupid? Why did you make that decision? They failed. They got caught at what they were trying to do. I like reading about businesses that go belly up, bad financial decisions. I don't know why I find all this stuff. And I failed a lot in my life. I've done stuff that I've had other projects that I failed at. And you just keep going. I find failure fascinating. Here's a thing that I've never talked about on the podcast. I don't think I have, at least. I think the most compelling story of our time is the story of Falcon Heaney, aka Balloon Boy. I need to dedicate an entire like 3-part episode to this family. They are the most amazing microcosm of American society. This family of 5 may be the perfect. People say, "Oh, the Kardashians. That's what America is. It's like fake and phony and all about image." The Kardashians have nothing on the Heenies. I have been following these guys ever since Balloon Boy. Ever since Balloon Boy, I've been so fascinated by the Heenies because their entire life is failure after failure after failure, and they never stop trying. And I find that so fascinating. I hope they succeed eventually. If you don't know the story, a guy wanted to get a reality show. Let me read some of these comments here real quick. I will look up Genowaska, Robert. I'll take a look at that, the Hillbilly Cousin, see what that is. Thank you for the recommendation. Let's see here. But it probably is the precursor to our divorce. But yeah, Dead Bedrooms is so fascinating to me. It's awful. Gilgalad's dad. I am not CIA. I'm not CIA. I'm not affiliated with Central Intelligence Agency in any way, shape, or form, or the FBI. I have interacted with the FBI before. I have had moments where I've had to shake an FBI agent's hand and talk to FBI agents. But I don't, as far as I know, I've met people who say that they were scouted by the CIA, but I've never actually met an actual CIA agent. However, I have dealt with FBI agents in the past. Friendly. I'll tell that story on an episode. We'll save that one for an episode. What's up, finishers? Finishers. Hold on. Finishers. You know who Finishers is? Look at everyone in the chat. You know who Finishers is right now, dude? I know who it is, dude. I know who it is. That's Dr. Huxtable. The guy who made the music, that made the opening music for the episode, that's him right there, dude. What are you doing, man? Where you been? I saw you up on Facebook. I mean, not on Facebook. I saw you up on YouTube quite a while ago. He's the guy who I purchased the music from for my stuff. So now he's Theo, yeah. So to know more of the Dr. Huxtable stuff, say that dude, he's what was the other name we went by? DJ Scott Scanlon. Yeah, hey, finishers, you are a legend around here. Everybody loves that. It's a great theme song, and he does the outro music. He pretty much does all of the music that we have on Dead Rabbit Radio. But it was originally for music projects, and then I started using it on the podcast back in because I had a podcast back in 2006 or something like that, and then it sucked. It was terrible. It was political, and I didn't know what I was talking about. I've thought about re-releasing it, but I haven't. But anyways, dude, finishers, are you still doing music, man? Nice, dude. I'm sure you could get. I mean, yeah, a legend. It is good music, dude. It's very moody, and I would sit there. I mean, I have other music that I purchased from him that I think you've heard snippets of it on the show. Are you really, dude? Are you really, finishers? You're working there? You're still there? I thought you. Okay. We both worked at Guitar Center way back in the day, and Circuit City back in the day. And that's when we met. But I'd sit in him with his studio, and he would just break out a keyboard, and he'd go like, and then there's the opening song for Dead Rabbit Radio. I think that song took him maybe an hour or two to make. It was totally insane. You need to start live streaming some music, dude. And Shanty Keats. Yes, I would love to hear that story about when the CIA broke down your door. You can definitely shoot that over to me. Let's see here. Just jumping back here. And My 600-Pound Life might actually be the best reality show out there. You are right here, bud. But the Heenies. It was Balloon Boy. The guy wanted a reality show doing science stuff like MythBusters, so he built a balloon, sent it off, and then told the media there was a kid in the balloon. And so the Air Force is trying to like not shoot down this balloon. And eventually found out that the kid wasn't in it. It was all a big scam. That's not where the story ends, though. I'll hit you up, but yeah, let's see here. One second. Okay. Here, I got to do something here real quick. I know, compelling stuff. Oh, here. Sorry, one second. See you later, finishers. Yeah. The mother Ash. The mother doesn't fart though. She might have farted. The boy throws up. They're on the news, and the little boy's like, "It was part of the show." Maybe she does fart then. Anyways, he's gone on. Heaney went on to start a rock band. The father started a rock band, invented a new like robot that sits in the back of a pickup truck. He invented some other piece of garbage. And then he had his boys become a heavy metal band called the Heaney Boys. Like he's so arrogant that his name has to be part of everything. But it's the first song's all about conspiracy theories. It was just absolutely fascinating. You know what? I wish I had. They were on Wife Swap too. Yeah, they were actually like really wanted to be celebrities. Let's see here. I Do Live Alone, Pug Keeper. Shani, is there a full version of the Dead Rabbit intro song? I mean, obviously there is, but I've never posted it. We'll release it at some point, but right now it's just sitting there. Hyper Dragon Anaconda, thoughts on the CID classified library? I know the FBI declassified some stuff recently. I'm not for sure about the CIA. Did I ever explore that creepy hospital in my hometown? No, I didn't. The one with the cramp gas, I never went in there. And no, Vizzy, you cannot come over. Sorry. I wish I could. I don't think I can do that. There's a trailer out for a new movie called Mandela. Mandela Effect, actually. It's not just Mandela. That's the life story of Mandela. See you later, Ash. There's a movie called The Mandela Effect. I wish like I had that capability to like show you a trailer, but I don't. What I do have the capability of doing is here. Hold on, I want to shoot this guy. That I think we are going to wrap it up like that. I do hand motions all the time when I'm recording the podcast, and you'll know I'm doing it because I don't edit it correctly. You'll hear me hit the mic stand. You'll hear a burn. There's a weird, when the mic's recording, sometimes you'll hear a weird effect. That's me doing this and hitting the mic. But I'm going to go ahead and head out because my voice is getting hoarse. I do have to do an episode tomorrow and all that good stuff. But are there any questions before I go? Is there any questions before this live stream disappears? Good night, Shant. See you later, Caesar. I will take that as no questions because people are saying goodbye. So thanks, everyone. Again, thanks, everyone, for your awesome well wishes when I was sick. Really, I just wanted to test out my microphone, and you guys seem to be doing a good job. I mean, the microphone seems to be doing a good job. Thanks everyone for stopping by. And Vizzy, probably not. I'll be doing a Thanksgiving live stream. This was a test, and I'm glad because I was able to talk to all of you guys, but it was just a test. And I like doing the podcast. I think there's more artistry in the podcast, being able to edit it and kind of weave it a little more. But this one is just kind of there. So, but I do enjoy talking to you guys live. So, have a great night, guys. You'll have a new episode tomorrow. Have a good one, guys.